Another day at the workshop, and I planned to work on the Corolla today, and I've not even touched it. But instead, I've actually done quite a lot more to the MX5. Basically, I have been modifying the inlet manifold to work out exactly how the throttle setup's going to go, and that's done. Basically involved me making the hole where the original throttle body goes on that inlet up to 3 inch, and then working out the right size and bend of pipe to go the direction it needed to go. And then I've just placed the throttle in place just to work it out, and it's all 3 inch, 3 inch throttle. 3 inch pipe goes under there straight onto the intercooler, and on this side 3 inch 90, and it go down to I can't remember what that is, 2 1/4 I think, 2 1/2, something like that, and then straight to the compressor outlet. It's not staying like this, like blue hoses, it has to all be black. I'm literally doing this, mocking it up to work out what the fuck I got to order, and I go and see if I can get some tomorrow over Forge Motorsport at Silicone Hoses, which is part of Forge Motorsport. I have solved my wastegate issue because I found some 38mm ones. It's like a teal MVS Chinese copy, but it's exactly the same physically, externally, and it would allow a perfect angle. I mean, it'll be closer to the link pipe than you see in here, that's just placed there. So it'd be sort of a great flow priority from the manifold, plenty of room, and if you look at the angle, it can happily go straight into the downpipe. So no screamer pipe, no shit out the bonnet, no nothing, straight into the downpipe. On the news of the downpipe, as you can probably see from here, I've been mocking it up. Obviously last video I just had the elbow on, but on this one I've mocked it up a bit more, and that's literally a straight 3 inch and then like a 45-degree 3 inch bend, and that actually goes down to, you probably can't see it, but that actually clears everything and starts under the car basically. So yeah, it's going to be pretty easy to, well, it is easy to do this downpipe because it's pretty much done. It's pretty much designed anyway. The rest of the exhaust, I don't know how tricky it's going to be, but this bit's not too bad. This will be my anti-lag valves, probably mounted somewhere roughly there-ish, because they need to go, these pipes need to be pre-throttle, these pipes need to be post-throttle, or the other way around. I don't think it actually matters, not sure. Either way, inlet to outlet. Yeah, oh, there you go, there's an arrow on the fuckers. So these will have to go to pre-throttle, these will have to go to somewhere post, anywhere really. I might have like one there, fucking whatever. This is 2 of those OEM Volvo rubber mounts for them, which I've quickly bolted together, and it makes a nice neat double anti-lag valve mount. So what I'll do is get some longer versions of that same bolts, and I can literally use the bolt it down like that, and nice and neat and proper. One thing I probably am going to spend money on is really good heat shielding for the exhaust and the turbo stuff, because A, it's all going to get hot, and B, it's going to be quite close to the brake lines and clutch lines and master cylinders and shit. So I reckon I should spend the money and get it spot on. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I might just use heat wrap because heat wrap works great, but I might use something even fancier. I don't know. Come around to the back. What do you think? I mean, that looks badass. That's going to be the tailpipe. I've wanted to use this for ages. It's another military surplus Tornado fighter jet part. It's off a Tornado F3. It's an exhaust outlet for, it's one of like 4 exhaust outlets for the environmental control system on those things. So what that is kind of like their heating and air conditioning systems. It uses like bleed air from, I think, the compressor and the exhaust side, depending if they want cold or hot or whatever, to get the temperatures right in tornadoes. It's not just for the pilot, it's for like all the systems and everything as well in these airplanes. Obviously they can't get too cold or too hot or whatever. And yeah, this is one of 2 of the right hand, the other one's over there, it was one piece but cut it in half. One of 2 of the right hand exhaust outlet ducts for the environmental control system on a Tornado F3. That is officially what it is, because that is what it said on the ID tag thing that was tied to it when I got it straight out of military surplus. So yeah, ex-Tornado fighter jet parts. It's made of Inconel, so it's fucking awesome. It's got that fancy heat shield and stuff on, which costs a bomb. I'd love to get my manifold and downpipe and turbine housing done in that, but I'm pretty certain I can't afford it. That one's done by Gloucester Saro, which is a local company, hence the Gloucester part of it, who used to be Gloucester Aircraft, used to make fighter planes themselves, but then they got bought out and blah blah blah, and I think Hawker Siddeley bought them and BAE own them and whatever, and they specialise in this heat shielding shit. They've actually got a patent, because I looked it up, for this stuff. So but yeah, it's branded that on them. But it's ideal because I didn't really want like a big 4-inch tailpipe. This is about 2-inch, but it's very wide. And if you look here, it actually necks out. It goes to 4-inch. So, and you know I said about that race car I wanted to run. So what I can do is make an adapter which can bolt to this, as you can see. That goes from that to 4-inch for the race cat, and then after the race cat it can neck down to normal 3-inch pipe and to the rest of the car. But yeah, that would be absolutely fucking ideal. I mean, when it's done, it'll stick out a little bit more because you've got the back bumper, and it's a cut down back bumper, so it ends like, you know, pretty much here. But I still need to make a little lip, and this will be slightly further out, and this will probably sit higher up too, because at the moment it's angled down, but not worked that out yet. It's literally cable ties to work out, but that's fucking ideal. It's, yeah, I don't like, you know, big tailpipes, especially on a little car, but letterbox style jobs is, yeah, right up my street. Proper race car shit. So yes, that's how it is. And yeah, it, in my opinion at least, and that's the only opinion I care about, I don't give a shit what people think, it looks absolutely fucking suited down to the ground, to the car, to the colour, to the style of what it is, to kind of what I want from the car. This is like my, like I said in that other video, this thing's my low rent World Rally car. So I'd love to afford something like a fucking World Rally car or whatever, because I love everything about them in performance sort of terms, you know, but I know I can never afford one. This is my low rent solution, basically. Light, super responsive, small, turbo, lots of turbo noises, flames, anti-lag, super responsive, super torquey, just fun, basically. A fucking turbo go-kart for the road. Right, it's a day or so later, and thanks to Stav-Tech, they're like Forge Motorsport's sister company. They're all connected, it's all part of the Forge Motorsport group. But just like Forge Motorsport, they're local to me. And I needed some hoses, and while a lot of these places at the moment are low on stock, especially for funny shaped type hoses, so I didn't really have my hopes up, because I needed black, which is obviously not as common as blue. I needed some oddball reducers. I needed a 3" to 2" 90-degree bend, for example, and 135 odd degree bend at that end. So I went there and said, you know, I don't expect you to have everything, but the more you got, the more handy it'll be. And yeah, I love having them nearby. You know, they are literally down the road, because they had it all. So everything I asked for, which was the 2" 90 out the turbo, there's a 90 under there, it's 2" to 3" to the intercooler. That is a 3" 135 I think it is degree bend. But yeah, and the 4" bend, 4" 90 that is, for the turbo inlet. They had it all. So as you can see, the boost pipes are near enough done. Not totally yet. I need to, wow, it's probably going to be a 3" 45, I reckon, would be the easiest way to mate up the throttle body to the inlet. Obviously the inlet's not welded yet, so there's going to be a bit of wiggle room, but the original angle, which is how it is now, it'd be too much, it'd be a bit tight really. If I have the throttle a bit straighter, which was my original plan, not completely straight but a bit, a 45 3" off that 135 or whatever it is will mate up bob on. So yeah, sorted. Literally I'm gonna have to trim like you always do with these things, because they give you plenty, but I want it smaller, so I'm going to cut the straight sections off the 4" with just the smallest bend I can, so it gives me maximum room for the air filter. Obviously there's no hose clamps on it yet. I've just literally mocked it up to make sure it'd work, but everything else is spot on. I might use a slightly longer 2" alloy piece to join these two together, because it looks a fair distance apart, but I'm not sure yet. I've literally just popped it together, but to be fair, I've probably got some, and yeah, it just fits under these fixed headlights. So even more reason to get rid of the bloody pop-ups, because I don't like them, but they give room for a proper intercooler. So yeah, Stav-Tech, they've got a website. I think it's actually, you know what it is, it's siliconehoses.com. I'm saying all this crap, but look, siliconehoses.com. That's them. Basically it's part of the Forge Motorsport group. They are literally all in the same building. You just don't go in it's a different entrance to the silicone hoses, but most of you will be buying online, and there's they've got an eBay shop and a website, so take your pick. But their stuff's top quality, it's not expensive, and more to the point, they've got stuff. So, and they're top blokes. That's, you know, having good customer service is always handy. So yeah, that's where we are at the moment. Now I'm going to have a look, because the early Volvo 240 alternator setup, where it goes down there, has just arrived in the post. So I'm going to see what it looks like and see if there's room to put it there, because if there is, I may as well run that rather than the little one, just because it's simpler. Well, safe to say I'm pretty chuffed with that. As well as that looking pretty awesome, it's all worked out very well, and as you can probably see, it's got an alternator and it's fully fitted, tensioner, a cable tie to mock up the belt, everything clears, and funny enough, everything is OEM Volvo. That's a Volvo 240, I guess it's a non-power steering version, because every Volvo engine I've had, they've all had power steering cars, and the pump's always down there and the alternator's there. I didn't even know that existed until I happened to Google it once I realised this side was going to get in the way of the trigger wheel. So I went onto eBay, and obviously this is like, I'm guessing, only older Volvo 240s to not have power steering. So I didn't imagine it to be that easy to get. And luckily on eBay, there was one seller selling the mount, which was fucking handy, and one seller selling the alternator. And also, which was probably the luckiest part of all, because it's a funny shape and it wouldn't work without it, the alternator came with the tensioner, because there's nothing like any of the other tensioners I've got for the Volvo mounts in other places. I mean, I've got about 2 or 3 different styles depending on various years of these engines and the ones off the boats and all that, but none of them would have fitted with that. This one bolts to the block on the one side, which on the other side it all bolts to the various bits on the actual mount. On this, all the mount does is hold the alternator in place, and the tensioner bolts to the front of the block under the water pump. So yeah, I was really lucky getting hold of that. I had no idea if it was going to work, but I thought, wow, it's worth a go. And once I'd started fitting these pipes, it kind of looked like there was going to be a good amount of room there, because you know I had the, well, you would have seen earlier in the video, I had the tiny little one, but then it looked like I would still have quite a lot of room for more. So it's like, why not fit this? This would be easier. I won't have any charging issues like I might have with the little 40 amp tiny one, although it probably would be fine. It wouldn't do much in the way of charging at very low RPM, whereas this one is a OEM Volvo one. So yeah, and funny enough, this is hardly any heavier than the tiny one. It's bigger, but it's a fair bit smaller than the 941. And also, which would probably, again, it'll help a bit, because I don't know if you remember from previous videos, I've done loads of stuff to sort of try and lighten the rotating mass, you know, the single pulleys and all that, where they're normally double and triple, super light flywheel, all that kind of shit. This alternator spins like 10 times freer than the 940 ones. I tried 2 different ones that I've got, and it's not a because they're seized up, they spin smooth, but they feel heavy. It's like it's a real heavy flywheel. They must have a shitload of weight inside them, whereas this spins about as fast as that little tiny one does. So again, even less sort of load on the engine, which is always a bonus. The air filter pipe going that way looks great. That, you know, this reminds me of, well, all good engines should be, Cosy engines and stuff. They tend to go to the inner wing. But that ain't going to work, because, well, you might be able to see, it's higher than the bonnet line, I think. So realistically, it's going to be pointing, the filter's going to be pointing downwards, which, to be honest, is better for colder air anyway. But whatever, I just want to fit. But yeah, overall, I'm very chuffed with how it's all looking now. I mean, well, yeah, look at it, badass. Just got to some more minor plumbing and this, that, the other. Now all this is on. Also with that alternator, which I was a bit concerned about with the setup I was making to make the little one fit. This is actually more compact in other ways, because it sits very close to the block, a lot closer than the little one did. And that's OEM how they are on these Volvo engines. And it's a lot more clearance to the coolant pipe there. Obviously you've got the one on the side of the head there, and the one out the water pump. And that now is a lot more room, because obviously they're going to the back, so that one has to loop around there and go under there. And before it was borderline if there was enough room. Now there's plenty. So yeah, it's all going amazingly well, freakishly well. The whole build has, hasn't it? It's you know, if somebody told you was gonna do this build, it'd be like, why, that's really weird. But it's been the fucking perfect build so far, really. You know, I know it's far from my first fucking rodeo, but as big builds go, this is the easiest big one I've ever bloody done. Anyway, that's where we are. and I'm going to go home now because, well, I've achieved plenty and I think it's time to have a rest. So yeah, hope you like this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that shit, because it does help. And to be honest, I'm almost at 9,000 subscribers, which is, no, 8,000, sorry, which is a nice round number. So if I can get up to 8,000, I think I'm like 50 off at the moment, 40 off. That'd be lovely. Not like it's going to make me any money, but, you know,